ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون.
For years, your children have been enjoying the best, Nutrilac, adapted to suit your little one's dietary needs. Nutrilac has always taken care of your children and brings nature's best, plus vitamins and minerals, to give your baby the strength and protection it needs. Zinc, the power behind your baby's intelligence, helping your little one grow up smarter and wise. Selenium, the protector of your baby's immunity, so that he can fight disease. Vitamin D, to give your baby healthy bones and teeth and to make him grow strong and powerful. Discover these 3 superpowers in the new Nutrilac Immunoprotect formula. For inquiries about Nutrilac Immunoprotect, contact Fawani Enterprise, Banjul on 7191815. Nutrilac, everything your baby needs to grow.
Hello, good evening. A warm welcome to GRTS. This is the news. We are broadcasting live for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. On the top of the news this hour, President Adam Barrow lays the foundation stone for the construction of the Sankande Karantaba Road in Kiang in the Lower River region. The Vice President, on behalf of President Barrow, presents $2 million to victims of last Wednesday's windstorm in the North Bank region. Plus, the Minister of the Interior appears before the Public Petition Committee of the National Assembly to shed light on the allegation that the police failed to prosecute suspected cattle rustlers in the Upper River region. And the European ambassador to the Gambia calls on the Minister of Defense to strengthen partnership and possible areas of cooperation. Away from home to South Africa, where the imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma leads to social unrest with deaths and nearly 500 people arrested. Well, these and much more coming ahead in this edition of the news. I am Aissatou Keita, and thanks for joining us. welcome to GRTS News, and we begin with the presidency. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, has laid the foundation stone for the construction of the Sankande Karantaba Road in Kiang West Lower River region. The 87-kilometer road project, funded by government at a tune of $400 million, seeks to link the interior of Kiang to the South Bank main road. The project, as we hear in this report by Mondu Jallo, is expected to enhance socio-economic activities as well as ease access to the hinterland. While that story by Mondu Jallo will air later in the news. Meanwhile, President Adama Barrow, through the Vice President Dr. Aissatou Touré, on Tuesday presented $2 million to the people who were affected by last Wednesday's devastating storms in the North Bank region. The presentation ceremony held at State House was attended by the Governor of the North Bank region, Lamin Seydi Khan. That story will also come later in the news. While still on the executive, the Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Touré, has officiated the opening ceremony of a stakeholder sensitization forum on the implementation of ECOWAS gender-based violence and child tax in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. The 4-day capacity enhancement program was held at the Sadauda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center in Bijulo. Yaro Jala has the details.
The heavy windstorm that hit the country last Wednesday evening left over a dozen people dead.
Also not done, we move on to some legislative matters now. The Minister of the Interior, Yankuba Sonko, and the Director General of Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency, Dr. Demba Jallo, on Tuesday appeared before the Public Petition Committee of the National Assembly. The duo are summoned to shed light on the petition that alleged the lack of intervention by the police force to prosecute suspected cattle rustler and other livestock in the Upper River region, particularly in Wuli districts. Khadija Tudalo has the details.
The Minister of the Interior, Yankuba Sonko, and Director General, Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency are the latest to appear before the National Assembly Public Petition Committee to shed light on petition letter by the Wuli East Animal Protection Association relating to cattle stealing in Wuli. The chairman of the committee and his team asked the witnesses issues relating to allegations that the police are not prosecuting perpetrators and the revocation of the license of one cattle dealer who is alleged to have been involved in stealing cattle but still engaged in the business even though his license had been revoked since 2020.
We've received evidence from the community that he used to give ransom to the police. These are allegations that are laid before. So what do you have to say to that?
There's a case whereby our person, this Kora, he found Gajigo slaughtering. He ran to the police, informed them. Okay, the police came. The police said, okay, no, let him finish his job. Let's go, we'll arrest him after. They went with this man, how do they call it? Kora. And they made sure that they came back when actually this man had slaughtered and sold his meat. And nothing happened. Then later they came and said, but there's no evidence now. Where is the evidence now? What can we do now?
Lack of enough resources for the police to effectively execute their duty and the police surrounding transfer of officials are some of the challenges that the Minister of the Interior highlighted as hindering efficiency in service delivery, citing Officer Alkali Mandaba, who stayed in Sarangay for 15 years.
We have to praise the police for doing their best because the last police station that was built by the government was as far back as 1970 something. The rest of the stations that we are currently using are all, built by the police from their welfare fund and from their seafood fund. That is just to complement the efforts of the government. And up to 2017, half of the police vehicles were also police owned.
Subject matter specialist Pa Amadou Jallo also shared his views.
And I think there is also a need for the police to think of building modern police stations, at least in Wuli. Because if you look at Wuli, you have Wuli East, Wuli West, and then and Sandu. So they have been policed by only these two police stations, that is Sarangay and Diabugo.
On behalf of the committee, the chairman, Honorable Sunkari Baji, commended the witnesses for providing vital information. Khadijatu Jallo, reporting for GRTS News.
Well, to our earlier mentioned story where the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, has laid the foundation stone for the construction of the Sankandi Karantaba Road in Kiang West Lower River region. The 87-kilometer road project funded by government at a tune of $400 million seeks to link the interior of Kiang to the South Bank main road. The project, as we hear in this report by Momodu Jallo, is expected to enhance socio-economic activities as well as ease access to the hinterland.
The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, continues to break new ground as he lays the foundation stone for yet another important project. 2 days after laying the foundation stone of the Laminkoto Diabuguba Tapa electricity project, the Gambian leader did the same for the first phase of the Sankandi Road project. The project is seen as a major turning point for the people of Kiang, who have waited for more than 5 decades for the government to respond to their plight. Therefore, Kiankas turned out in their numbers to grace the history event, which was held in Sankandi. The alcalde of the village, Banta Kambi, welcomed the development as a dream come true for all Kiankas who had endured decades of suffering. He thanked the President for taking the bold initiative, which has seen Kiang get electricity and now a road to link the inland villages with the main highway. The Chief of Kiang West, Alhaji Mamadou Njai, called on the people of Kiang to reflect on the groundbreaking developments championed by the President and support his agenda. He declared the constant political bickering in Kiang as a distraction, calling on the people of Kiang to embrace President Barrow. These comments were echoed by the governor of the Lower River region, Rohijon Manjang, who commended the President for keeping his promises to the people of the region. She added that Kiang, as one of the most neglected regions in the country, is witnessing a new era in development, citing the provision of electricity and the new road as unprecedented. The organizing secretary of the NPP party, Fabu Sane, on behalf of all the people of Kiang, commended President Barrow for fulfilling one of their most urgent priorities, reassuring that Kiang would never serve as fodder for any political party anymore. The $400 million contract is awarded to Guy Enterprises, whose managing director, Mustafa Guy, reassured that works on the first phase will be completed in 12 months. For the Minister of Works, Bailamin Job, this project forms part of the ambitious government plan to construct the entire Kiang Road network, which has a total length of 87 kilometers.
Ultimate aim of this project is to link major communities in the region and districts of Kiang, such as Kemoto, Tangular, Joli, Jali, Manduar, and to connect them to the main southbound road you see over there. The road will be constructed in 2 lanes, that is a 2-lane carriageway of 7 meters wide, with 1.5 meters shoulders on each side of the carriageway.
The second phase, according to the Works Minister, will follow immediately and will transform Kiang ending its decades of isolation.
And it concerns the design, review, supervision and construction of the remaining 48 kilometers and a proposed bridge linking Kiang and Foni over the Bintang Column. This is an ambition we have. This planned landmark project will not only benefit the people of LRR and Kiang districts, but the Gambia as a whole.
The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, described the project as much deserved after visiting Kiang and seeing firsthand the plight of the people. This situation, the President added, called for urgent measures to address the challenges faced by the people on a daily basis.
Well, we apologize for that hitch. Meanwhile, President Adama Barrow, through the Vice President Dr. Aissatou Touré, on Tuesday presented $2 million to the people who were affected by last Wednesday's devastating windstorms in the North Bank region. The presentation ceremony held at State House was attended by the Governor of the North Bank region, Lamin Sedikan. Yaro Jaro has the details.
The heavy windstorm that hit the country last Wednesday evening left over a dozen people dead and displaced thousands of families. The destruction caused by the powerful wind has prompted President Adama Barrow to to come up with this donation to support the affected families in the North Bank region. Presenting the donation on behalf of the President, the Vice President Dr. Asad described the gesture as timely, adding that the move is part of President Barrow's personal efforts to contribute to the welfare of the disaster victims in the country.
This is a great gesture from our beloved President, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, to source from his own individual resources to help those affected during this disaster period. I want to attest that I was also sent by him to go to the southern part of the country when he was doing the North Bank region, to also go and commiserate and say send his condolences to the bereaved families of those that are affected, and I did. He also actually supported them. This $2 million is that he is donating to the governor of the North Bank in response to the unfortunate situation that occurred during the rainy season. It's a token of humanitarian gesture to those affected, and this is his individual contribution.
The Vice President further called on other philanthropists to come on board and support the disaster victims. The governor of North Bank region received a donation on behalf of the affected families. Governor Lamin Sedikan thanked President Barrow for the kind gesture.
Thanks to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Adama Barrow, of his good leadership. He took initiative and came to the region, and then he visited a lot of places, and he saw the devastation by himself, and he pledged his $2 million to help the community.
The North Bank governor also used the opportunity to call on other Samaritans to emulate the gesture and assure that the donation would reach the targeted beneficiaries. For GRTS News, this is Yero Jalo reporting.
Back to the legislature, where the National Food Security and Marketing Corporation on Tuesday appeared before the Public Enterprise Committee of the National Assembly to present their 2018 and 2019 activity report and financial statement. Khadija Juwara. Well, I guess the report by Khadija Juwara will air later in the news. Moving on, the European ambassador to the Gambia, His Excellency Corrado Pampaloni, has paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Defense and his office in Banjul. In another development, the Defense Minister also received in audience the committee members of the Defense Policy, who presented the final draft report of the Gambia National Defense Policy. Winifred Nicole covered both engagements and files in this report.
But productive for the Minister of Defense, Honorable Sheikh Omar Fai, who received in audience the European Union Ambassador to the Gambia, His Excellency Corrado Pampaloni. This is his first official visit to the Ministry of Defense, 7 months after his appointment. Their discussions centered on issues of partnership and possible areas of cooperation.
I came here to reiterate our full support to the Gambian government and to the transition that His Excellency the President of the Gambia has started the day of his elections. With the Honorable Minister, we discussed also our teams of collaboration. As you know, the European Union has supported the security sector reform very deeply, and we continue to do it, and we will continue to do it.
Committed in supporting the Gambia's democratic transition, the EU-Gambia relations has helped deliver important development goals for the country. Thus, the pledge by the top EU diplomat to continue supporting the country's development initiative.
The Gambia needs help. We're in a very fragile democracy. It's a new transition, and we're trying to move forward as a country. And the EU will be a very phenomenal partner that can help us build capacity. The budget support you're already doing, and all the support you gave to President Barrow and all Gambians. We here at the Ministry of Defense, we say thank you.
In a similar but separate engagement, the Minister of Defense also received in audience members of the Defense Policy Drafting Committee, who were at his office to present the final draft report of the Gambia National Defense Policy, led by the chairperson of the committee, Honorable Sheriff Gummins.
The Ministry of Defense found the need to put this team together to prepare a defense policy. But preceding this, before this, the enabling environment was already created by government through putting through the security sector reforms that started with an assessment of what is the security situation of the country. And following on that, the construction and development of national security policies, the national security strategy, the security sector reform strategy.
The final draft, according to officials, has the input of various stakeholders before validation, as announced by the Defense Minister.
Now we have come to a point where we have a robust, rigorous, and well-informed defense policy. During a post-2020 era, when traditional security threats continue to develop and impact the world, an era when military forces must invest in developing new forms of capability to respond to these issues, the risks, the threats. Also an era when regional and international cooperation has never been more important in this increasingly globalized and interdependent world. It is critical the Gambia remains relevant and also has a contribution to bring to collective security and defense threats.
After 6 months of deliberations and collaboration, members of the drafting committee, comprising the former and present senior security officers, as well as senior officials from the civil service, shared their experience and best practices during the process. It is hoped that the ministry will deliver to expectation. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Winifred Nicole.
And now to this media release from the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment. It states that in its surveillance of the market prices has noticed with concern an increase in the price of corrugated iron sheet 14 mm from $1,800 per packet in mid-June to $2,200 currently. Similarly, the prices of nails and iron rods are also rising. These increases are taking place in the aftermath of the devastating windstorm that adversely affected the country last week. The ministry hereby notifies all traders that undue price escalations are not in line with the free market principles and contradicts Section 11(2)(a) of the Gambia Consumer Protection Act 2014. According to the release, traders should not take advantage of the natural disasters that affect the country and should desist from any practice that is not supporting consumer welfare. The ministry remains committed to free market principles but will take necessary measures against any trader that violates the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Act. The release ends. Now, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission Tuesday held an award ceremony for its partners. The awardees were the United Nations Transitional Justice, the International Center for Criminal Justice, Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, and the Catholic Relief Services, amongst others, to show appreciation for their support and commitment during the TRRC process. Sena Bujan.
OHCHR and the UNDP, the IHRDA, CRS, International IDEA, and ICTJ. The TRRC would not have registered the successes that we registered. You walked the talk with us. You felt our pain, and you accompanied us when we were down, when we needed resources, when we needed technical advice, when we just needed a word of comfort. The individual staff members were always there to guide, to support, and to just be there for us. And for that we are extremely grateful.
Awards were presented to the various partners who, according to the TRRC officials, supported the Commission in the successful completion of the TRRC proceedings. Chairperson of the TRRC, Dr. Lamin Sise, presented the first award to the United Nations Resident Coordinator, Seraphine Wakana.
When we talk about never again, so for us, I believe the partnership that we built with the TRRC will also serve as an example for other work we are still doing. And as the UN Resident Coordinator, I want to commit myself and the entire UN in the Gambia that we are supporting the TRRC. We are waiting for the report. And we will be happy to support and continue. We are really eager to see the implementation of the recommendations from the report we are going to submit. So the Peace Building Fund will always be ready to accompany also the recommendations.
The Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa was also presented an award by Commissioner Mustafa Ka. Speaking on behalf of the Institute was Executive Director Gay So, as he expressed his gratitude for the recognition.
So we very grateful being recognized. We would continue to monitor, particularly the implementation of the recommendations, because for us IHRDA is really very, very important part of our mandate. Just wanted to say at IHRDA we talk about 5 different values. We talk about dedication, we talk about integrity, we talk about diligence, innovation, teamwork. We say we did it.
Country representative for the Catholic Relief Services, Ndeye Anta James, collected their award from Commissioner Amisamba.
Continue to be impressed by the resilience of the Gambian people. It is quite a feat to extract yourself from 22 years of a repressive regime and do it without bloodshed, because that is what the world is used to seeing. Bloodshed, misery, conflict. But the Gambia has been able to do that by putting peace and social cohesion ahead. And peace and social cohesion happens to be one of the foundations of our work at Catholic Relief Services.
The International Center for Criminal Justice was represented by Hussein Jallo, as she received the award by Deputy Chairperson Adelaide Sose.
We would like to say thank you, and of course, we would like to congratulate the TRRC for the great work that has been done for the past 2 years. And we would like to assure the TRRC that we will continue to work with them anytime they need us.
The Commission completed its work after a period of extensive proceedings looking at human rights abuses committed during the 22 years of the former regime. Zainabu Jan for GRTS News.
Well, back to our earlier mentioned story on the legislature, where the National Food Security and Marketing Corporation on Tuesday appeared before the Public Enterprise Committee of the National Assembly to present their 2018 and 2019 activity report and financial statement. Kadiatu Juararada has the details.
The National Food Security and Marketing Corporation, NFSMC, on Tuesday appeared before the Public Enterprise Committee to present their 2018 and 2019 activity report and financial statements. Speaking during the session, the chair of said the engagement creates an understanding of the nation's policies and challenges for further scrutiny and recommendations. Honorable Sala further recommend for the committee to visit the National Food Security and Marketing Corporation to have a true understanding of the institution.
And members had to go directly into activities, and the committee engage them and insist that we must put an end to the backlog in 2021. And to do so, we must commence right away to consider the activity report and financial statement of those institutions that had submitted their report up to 2019. The activity report and financial statement of the GGC CUM National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation for the year 2018-2019. It is moved and seconded. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in favor say no. The ayes have it. Board, management, we're in it together. We want to finish this business as quickly as possible, and we hope that you will give us priority, and we will consult and tell you soonest the day for us to be there, and hopefully we will be inviting the auditors to be present so that we look at the key issues and then from there reconvene for the final consideration.
Managing Director Food and Security Corporation, Mohammed Jai, said visiting the sites timely for better understanding of the challenges the institution faced.
In terms of visiting our depots, I think it will be very timely for us. And also some of the challenges that we are faced with, I think there is another select committee on monitoring that is actually monitoring some of the projects that have been implemented by the government, which is the new processing plant. Perhaps you can also go there because there are delays, and the National Assembly members can help us achieve that too.
The chairman of the National Food Security and Marketing Corporation, Falalo Toure, said the suggestion will significantly enhance the full capacity of the institution for national development. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Khadija Tujuara.
Another presser from the Independent Electoral Commission, which has disclosed that a total of 987,484 people have registered in the recently ended voter registration exercise held across the country's 7 administrative regions. A media release from the election house says the IEC has conducted a 44 days nationwide voter registration, which began on the 29th May and ended on Sunday 11th July. According to the release, the registration exercise was in preparation for the 2021 electoral cycle to begin the presidential election slated for 4th December. The provisional total number of registered voters comprises 559,996 females and 427,488 males, says a media dispatch from the Electoral Commission. According to the release, 21,445 people were registered in Banjul, 187,632 in Kanifing, 360,825 in Brikama, 109,934 in Kerawan, 57,832 in Mansa Konko, whilst 123,984 in Janjambure and 125,832 in Basse administrative regions. The release further states that the provisional list of IEC's registered voters shall be displayed in due course at the various registration centers where they are compiled for a 10-day public scrutiny. This, according to the Commission, will be followed by the establishment of the revising court to decide on the objections and appeals on the provisional list. The IEC commends government of the Gambia, political parties, development partners, civil society organizations, the media and the Gambian public for their support and participation in the successful conduct of the general voter registration exercise. The release concludes. While from that release, we will take a short break. The news continues in a moment. Do stay.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriMoney just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be 10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to 30,000. Meaning, your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Welcome back, and now to the international scene, beginning in South Africa, where the imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma has led to social unrest so far. At least 10 people have died and nearly 500 people have been arrested. The unrest started last week in KwaZulu-Natal. Zuma is a native of the region where he enjoys widespread support. It has since spread to South Africa's largest city, Johannesburg. Several COVID-19 vaccination sites have been attacked in the country, hampering the immunization efforts. Shops and malls have also been looted. The military has been deployed to support the police efforts to contain the violence. This comes as the country attempts to bolster an economy that already had hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. And well, now that ends this edition of the newscast. Well, that ends this edition of the news, but before we go, a look at our top stories once again. President Adama Barrow has laid the foundation stone for the construction of the Sankandi Karantaba Road in the Kian, the Lower River region. The Vice President, on behalf of the President, Adama Barrow, has presented $2 million to victims of last Wednesday's windstorm in the North Bank region. Plus, the Minister of the Interior has appeared before the Public Petition Committee of the National Assembly to shed light on the allegation that the police failed to prosecute suspected cattle rustlers in the Upper River region. And the European ambassador to the Gambia has called on the Minister of Defense to strengthen partnership and possible areas of cooperation. Away from home to South Africa, where the imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma has led to social unrest with deaths and nearly 500 people arrested. Well, that was all we had time for. Now, do join us again at 2200 hours for more news and updates. Until then, I am Aissatou Keita, and stay tuned for more.